This is why you died.
Hello again, and welcome back to This Is Why You Died, the show that once again rises from the crypt to suck the blood of the virgins. I, as always, am Sir Ian Dangerous, a.k.a. your Uncle Frank, and joining me, as always, are the masters of virgin blood-sucking who have crossed oceans of time to find you. Dan March of Madness and Ryan Ross Live. Hello, boys. How are we doing?
Hello.
I have concerns.
That was a very, that's kind of one of the most, the oddest of intros.
I would like to raise a question.
What? You're sucking the blood of the virgins. You know.
I'm as big a vampire fan as any, but is that the direction we want to go?
Well, it kind of is, because we are going to be going in a very classic horror direction here, and not in the direction of Dracula, but we'll talk about that in a second. We are the show where random prompts are drawn from our buckets of the beast, 666 possible prompts. We then come back here to this show and we watch a movie based off of those prompts. And we are here once again for your enjoyment. We've got another great movie lined up this episode. And boys, sometimes we do a little preamble. We do a little setup for the show here, talk about our lives and whatnot. We ain't got time today because we are doing a modern movie. A movie. This is brand spanking new. This just came out very recently. Ryan, this is your movie, man. I am not going to say any more about it. We're going to jump right into this. Would you like to tell us what your prompt was and what movie we have watched in preparation of this show today?
Absolutely. So my prompt for this episode was electricity. And I originally wanted to go in the direction of more of a like electroshock therapy, electroconversion therapy, horror vibe. But it turns out that there's not that many of those that are particularly standouts. So I ended up pivoting to more of a reanimation electric shock vibe. And Guillermo Del Toro has recently made and is now releasing his version of Mary Shelley's original Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein story, not the Hollywoodized, it lives up from the dead slab Frankenstein. And Oscar Isaac is the lead, who I'm also a big fan of. So I decided that would be the movie that we would watch today. For today. And I think all of us had the opportunity to see it in theaters. Am I not mistaken?
That's right. Yes.
Yes. So that is a very special thing, is that we are all based in LA, and LA had early screenings of Frankenstein in the theater before it was released on November 7th, which by the time of the airing of this show, it will be out on Netflix. You can all go see it there.
In your living room.
In the comfort of your living. Hope you have a big TV and a good sound system, because this movie kind of begs it.
Yeah.
But before we start talking about Guillermo Del Toro's new Frankenstein movie, please, Dan, would you tell us where they can go find us? All of our socials, YouTube, Patreon, etc. Where can they go?
Beacons.ai/TIWYD pod. That's where you can find us on YouTube, find out where you can listen to us. You can buy some of this cool merch. I'm wearing the hoodie and the beanie right now. And you can go to our Patreon too. You can become a patron and support us.
Get our
and say hello.
Extended editions of the episodes, the before and after of each episode.
Yes, lots of we have more content planned coming up on. It's going to be very exciting. And of course, if you're one of our podcast listeners, we do this on YouTube now, fully live video.
Hi, YouTube.
The horizontal and the vertical. You can see us there. You can see us there talking about Frankenstein. No further ado, Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. And of course, going forward, as always, spoiler warning. Bam, bam, bam. This is hot off the presses, this movie. So this is going to be a very dangerous episode if you have not watched the new Frankenstein and have no idea what is in a 200-year-old book. But
is it 200 years? Oh my God. Hold on. I got to look this up.
1818 it was written. 1818.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So Mary Shelley began writing Frankenstein in the summer of 1816. She was staying in Geneva with her husband, Percy Shelley, and their friend, Lord Byron, and his lover at the time, who may have been pregnant, a woman named Claire. And that was also, by the way, the summer of no summer. It was the summer that Mount Tora something, Tapatau. I'm forgetting the actual name of it. A volcano had erupted.
Kid.
Oh.
Sorry. A volcano had erupted and it actually covered the sky in ash. And so there was actually a very cold summer that year. So they were all staying inside, and to entertain themselves, they decided to come up with a contest. Who could write the best ghost story? And in like the Gothic fashion, which at the time was still kind of being taken by the Romantics and changed into what we now know as more kind of Gothic literature, like Edgar Allan Poe, that kind of thing. And so who could come up with the best ghost story? And Mary Shelley had a waking dream of a man that had been brought back from the dead. And we got Frankenstein as a result. And this may have been something that came from her own sadness at losing her first 3 children, 1 miscarriage, and then 2 kids who died very young. Over that period while she was writing Frankenstein and finishing it up. And it was published in 1818, became well known, and then became very famous. Stage plays and, of course, films. The first film was an Edison Manufacturing Company short in, I want to say, 1908, 1909. And then there was another film called Without a Soul, something like that, in 1911. And then, of course, the famous one, Boris Karloff, 1931, Frankenstein, and the rest is history. But boys, here we are talking about the brand new Guillermo Del Toro Frankenstein. Ryan, this was your pick. What was your previous experience with the Frankenstein, with the property, with the concept, with the story, with the movies? What's your history with Frankenstein?
I would say I have about as much knowledge with Frankenstein as the average, maybe a little bit above average of the average person. I've read the novel years ago. I think I read it in high school. Okay, so
you had actually read the book.
I had read the novel. I mean, I think we read it in high school for a unit. Like, I had read the full novel. Obviously, Frankenstein's very popular in pop culture. He's one of the classic movie monsters of any horror, and is often one of the ones that's kind of popularized for kids with Halloween and Scooby-Doo and a bunch of other stuff. I'm a huge fan of Gene Wilder. Of course, Gene Wilder did Young Frankenstein, kind of a spoof of the whole story. So, like, I always had kind of the collective awareness of not only the origin, but also kind of the evolution of Frankenstein through the years, and kind of how he came to be who he came to be in the modern zeitgeist, so to speak. But I will say a lot of the ancillary stuff, I don't know a lot about Frankenstein's bride. I know Frankenstein Bride exists. I know she's got the white shock thing. I know the whole thing is that she's meant to be a companion to Frankenstein. I don't really know when she was introduced or her origin story. I just know that she's a popular figure. It's more of a general knowledge through just kind of the exposure of living in the modern era, I guess, more than anything else.
I want to point something out real quick. I don't know if you can see this on my phone, but I got
the Bride of Frankenstein poster.
Bride of Frankenstein, right over there.
Wow.
Yeah, Bride of Frankenstein. The old Frankenstein, the old James Whale Frankenstein movies is probably the most iconographically common version of the character. The big 7-foot tall green Boris Karloff with the bolts in the neck and the platform shoes and all that. That's the form of the monster that everyone's kind of commonly associated with. Ryan, before this movie, did you know that the monster was actually not Frankenstein? It was the Frankenstein's creature?
Yes.
Okay.
Victor Frankenstein is Frankenstein, and there's Frankenstein's monster who generally doesn't have a name. And also, canonically, in the origin, is more of a flesh golem than a bolted green zombie creature. But
that's very D&D of you.
Yes.
Yes. Animated through galvanism using chemicals to create electrical current. Dan, what was your experience with Frankenstein, with the creature, pop culture wise? What was your history with Frankenstein?
Yeah, like Ryan was saying, I can't remember if I've seen the full version of the original Boris Karloff one, but you've seen like the classic clips, especially the one of him like with the flowers and the little girl, that classic scene, and then of course,
it's alive.
Colin
all
Clive.
that. Young Frankenstein I've seen. You know, of course, I love the Monster Squad, one of my early movies that I've praised, and he's a very strong character in that.
Tom Noonan from Manhunter, the original Red Dragon was Frankenstein.
Yeah,
monster
you're right. Okay,
yeah.
And then also, you know, I had never read the novel, but I'd like kind of known about the storyline, and then
I'm surprised that you haven't.
Yeah, I don't think that I had to read it in school. Also, I think, you know, we talked about in my when we were watching The Exorcist that I went to private schools that were all religious based, so sometimes that kind of turns you away from what you could read. But I did watch Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein, where Robert De Niro played Frankenstein, and usually that's
he played the monster. They played the monster.
Sorry, yeah, he played the monster.
Kenneth Branagh played Frankenstein.
Yeah,
of course he did.
Kenneth Branagh makes me go sleepy time when he directs movies. So I didn't really like it. I remember not liking it because he really loves to direct and just direct for. He's like, I'm going to make 3 movies into one movie, please, because I need them to be 8 hours long.
You didn't like Kenneth Branagh running around in the reanimation scene, all oiled up and topless, just like sweating.
Of course he did.
Of course
he did.
No, I mean Kenneth Branagh just loves to just make very long movies that are quite boring. I mean, if you saw his Hamlet, which I think was, I don't know, like
4 hours and 10 minutes or something like that.
It was hard to watch. But so anyway, so that's where I'm at.
Unabridged.
Kenneth Branagh catching strays on our episodes today.
He's a great actor. He's just like when he directs, he's like, I'm just gonna direct for years.
But his Frankenstein, not your thing. Yes.
Yeah, it was not my thing. So then I was very excited about this Frankenstein because I love Guillermo Del Toro. So it was exciting. I was so excited to watch this one when I heard that he was doing this. So that's my history of Frankenstein.
Yeah, we've got so both of you guys have a pretty, I would say, above kind of the average knowledge of Frankenstein coming into this movie, you know, whether it's seeing a lot of movies and having a lot of understanding of the character, not just, you know, isn't he just the big green guy with bolts? So it's because there's a lot of different ways people could have found Frankenstein over the years, whether it's from the old Boris Karloff version, Lon Chaney Jr. played him, Bela Lugosi played him, and Bela Lugosi actually was one of the main reasons why he was conventionally known as being with the eyes closed and kind of the hands out in front. So when Bela Lugosi played him in that movie, he was supposed to be blind. Like in the script, they were like, well, Frankenstein is now blind, and that got cut out of the movie. So the entire movie, Bela Lugosi is stumbling around like the monster is blind, but it's never explained why he's stumbling around like he's blind, and that just kind of fed into the zeitgeist of the character. Glenn Strange, who played him afterwards, also played him as kind of stumbling around and just kind of being a zombie. And then Hammer Horror didn't help when they made the Christopher Lee version, Horror of Frankenstein, or was it Curse of Frankenstein? Horror of Dracula, Curse of Frankenstein. And Christopher Lee played the Frankenstein monster, and he was just a glorified zombie, mute, stumbling around, gray, kind of looked like a corpse. And then that was the only really original creature style that you really had. There was one that was closer to Boris Karloff later in that, but he was also fairly mute and stupid, and that just stuck around until, as you said, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro.
Also, we cannot forget the Munsters. I mean,
the Munsters, Herman Munster.
Yeah.
Big dopey, you know. Yeah. So, Frankenstein's...
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I also one of my favorite modern I guess iterations or I guess the result of all of these different versions is like the crossover of the fact that the monster canonically is stronger than the average person has then blended it into like there is some superhero and like supernatural crossover stuff of not only does DC have a Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Bride character that are like actually in like the canon, but every once in a while my favorites is when you get a random Frankenstein that has electrical powers because they're like
Yeah.
they do the bolts in the neck, and so he can have like lightning hands or things like that. That I'm like, okay, like where it just is. It's one of those like degrees of separation where you've gone so far that you're like, oh, now he can shock things.
Well, yeah, but did you see the Stephen Sommers Van Helsing where he's like cyberpunk or was it steampunks? He's steampunk.
He's basically a cyborg. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, he's a steampunk cyborg, and it's wild. But then you also had really faithful stuff recently. Penny Dreadful on Showtime, I think it was. Rory Kinnear played a nearly like book perfect Frankenstein's creature. Luke Goss, there was a Hallmark miniseries in 2004, and Luke Goss, who I personally thought Guillermo Del Toro was going to tap to be his creature because he played the elf prince in Hellboy 2. He was it Namek or Norek or Nonek or whatever his name was in Blade 2, the evil vampire guy with the lobster face.
Okay, cool.
So he has that like exact kind of brooding kind of look, and I was like, oh, he should play the Frankenstein's monster. I guess maybe he's just too old. And so in this, he cast Jacob Elordi. So boys, let's dive in to Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein, and let's start with the creature.
Mm-hmm.
What did we think of how Guillermo Del Toro, after all of these years and all these different ways the creature has been portrayed, Jacob Elordi, do you guys know him from anything other than like Euphoria and a couple like Saltburn, couple movies?
No.
Yeah. I
haven't even seen those.
Right. Kind of a new actor. 6'5", legit 6'5", guy's massive.
Oh,
massive Australian dude. And I guess Del Toro saw him in one of his movies. I can't remember the name of the movie that he was in that Del Toro saw him in. Hold on, quickly looking up over here. I can tell you when I see it. Priscilla. Del Toro saw him in Priscilla and said, I think that guy will work. He had 9 weeks. Andrew Garfield was supposed to play the creature. And due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, Andrew Garfield dropped out. And Del Toro, apparently, he barely even auditioned Elordi. He saw him in Priscilla. And Del Toro has said in an interview that he can tell if someone's right for the role by looking in their eyes.
Whoa.
And he said, when I looked in Oscar Isaac's eyes, I saw madness and passion and brilliance. And when I looked in Jacob Elordi's eyes, I saw innocence and openness. And also when he saw Priscilla, he saw him go into a rage, and he said, I need all those things in my monster.
Wow.
He can do those. And he's 6'5". He's got the size. So
what
guys,
cool
what did we
cast?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could listen to Del Toro speak forever. That guy is the most eloquent non-English as a first language speaker I've ever heard in my life. But boys, I'm going to have to do my best to not monologue on this show today because Frankenstein is one of my favorite properties, one of my favorite things in the world. So you're going to have to just take it from me. Ryan Ross Live. What do we think of the creature in Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein?
I'm gonna go even above the creature. I'm just gonna go straight up. This movie's fucking masterpiece, dude. This movie is incredible. And not only is it incredible, I have been recommending it to all of my friends to see it in theaters before it goes on to Netflix. Because the cinematography is beautiful. The writing is near Shakespearean beautiful. The acting is beautiful. The set design was to die for. I would murder men to be able to live in the room, like to be able to inhabit the world that they build in this movie. It is gorgeous, and it is just like I went through this whole movie, and I won't spoil my score, but like I went through this whole movie, and there was only one point in this movie where I felt like it stumbled even the slightest bit. And I was like looking at it and I was like, oh man, I really feel like that takes me out of it for half a second. And then I actually ended up talking myself back into the movie by the end. And like, we'll get to the end, because it's like, it's towards the end. We'll get to, I want to make sure we'll get to that when we get to it.
We'll save the nitpicks for that section of the show.
Oh my God, this is, I left this theater, and I think the last time I felt this way leaving a theater was when I saw Inception as a teenager, just being absolutely floored by a film. And granted, I was a teenager. I see you rolling your eyes over there. But like Inception when you're a teenager, and also I was sleep deprived and worked at summer camp. It was mind boggling. But like walking out of this, I can't think of the last time I felt like this walking out of a theater, just being floored by a movie. It's made it. I think it's incredible. I cannot speak highly enough about this movie. Well,
that's a good start.
Wow.
Dan, March Madness, can you follow that? RyanRossLIVE gave his overall on the movie. How was your experience of this Frankenstein film?
I'll go back to, I guess, the first question, which was the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love the design of the creature. I mean, I love that it, like, I love the hooded look, the massiveness of him, the way he was pieced together, the way he changed over time too, as he like learned and grew. It's just like it's like elements of him changed, and so like I love the design, and I second exactly what Ryan's saying. Like, as soon as this movie was over, I was like, put it on again, please let me enter this world. Everything that, and like, you know, Guillermo Del Toro, this is like his beyond passion project. Like, this is the thing that he's dreamed of making, and it's like everything that he's done has led to this moment, it feels like, because it's like the action that he entered the world with, like, because the first time I really saw Guillermo Del Toro's work was funny enough was Blade 2. That was like, Blade 2 was like a mainstream work. I was like, whoa, this is really cool what he did with the world. The action was great, you know, so it was like taking those elements of the action, which are sprinkled in through this movie, the gothic horror that he knows how to do, the set design, the love of classic monsters, like when like his take on Shape of Water. It was just like everything that he's done has led to this film, and the love that he has for it is in like every single frame. And man, I mean, it's just like it's just like you just feel engulfed in the world that he created, and it's just utterly gorgeous. Like, it's utterly gorgeous. You feel it all. Like, it's incredible.
You brought up the look of the creature, and you particularly like the look. Have you ever heard of an artist named Bernie Wrightson? Because if in the credits of this movie, he had a special thank you. Back in 2016, Guillermo Del Toro had an exhibit here at MoMA in Los Angeles, and it was a bunch of his private collection of art and materials that he'd used for promotions of his film. And I went to it, and one of the things he had on his walls was his original collection of Bernie Wrightson prints, which Bernie Wrightson did an illustrated version of Frankenstein in the early 80s, I want to say 84, and it's incredible artwork. And a lot of the art from that, he could have just put it up on the screen. It could be one for one. And it's incredible. And I loved, it was shocking to me to actually see some of the things that I had seen in these drawings at his exhibit, boom, put up on screen. As you said, it was his great white whale. He was been wanting to do this forever, and he's actually turned down opportunities to do this movie because it wasn't right. Wow. And he wanted to do it right. And God damn it, he did it right.
I think you guys will get a kick out of this. Can either of you guess the one Guillermo Del Toro film I've seen prior to this movie out of his filmography? Just take a guess, stab in the dark.
Oh, Pacific Rim.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yep. As soon as you said it, Dan, I was like, oh, that's totally it. It's the kaiju one.
I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is he's had so much experience doing so many different movies and so many different styles and genres, and he's always doing a monster movie. Every one of his movies in some way is a monster movie, whether it's vampires in Kronos, whether it's ghosts in Devil's Backbone, whether it's comic book monsters in Blade and Hellboy, and however many other monsters he was able to fit into Hellboy as well. But then kaiju with Pacific Rim, fairy tales with Pan's Labyrinth. He's always doing a monster. He's always trying to make monsters empathetic. And you can't ask for a monster that begs to be empathized with more than Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster specifically. And I really have to give it up to Jacob Elordi. He knocked it out of the goddamned park as the creature in this movie. I had no idea. Everyone does, but I really want to call him out first, and then we'll get to the other ones.
No, I do agree
because
with you
because everyone comes to the Frankenstein movie for the creature first and foremost. What are they going to look like? What are they going to be like? And Elordi has so many moments in this movie that are different, that he finds different things to do. His vocal performance is incredible. His physical performance is incredible. One of the things that I found out, because I just was so taken with it, did you guys notice the way that his body moved in this was very specific? How he moved, the way that the different parts of his body would move. It was like someone who had never moved their body before, kind of figuring it out, right? Yeah. His hand always kind of like moving off to the side, like a conductor's hand, then being pulled by the music of the spheres, right? Like it was very much specific. So there was a woman named Denise Fujiwara, who is a Canadian movement coach, and she trained him in a Japanese dance known as Buto, B-U-T-O-H. It's a modern Japanese dance style. And if you look it up, go to YouTube and type in Buto and look up what Buto dancers look like, and you will completely see where he got the physicality from in this. It's very much about isolation of body parts and kind of like breaking normal forms of movement, rethinking how you move. It's a very transgressive, angry dance style that came around after World War II in Japan. It once I realized that's what he was doing, it was so freaking cool how he was moving and what he was doing with this character. Again, stop me monologuing, please, for love of God. Let's talk. Okay, Elordi was great. We all agree. What about Oscar Isaac, your boy? Oscar Isaac, what did you think?
Well, it's funny that you say most people go to a Frankenstein movie for the creature. I am such a character nut that I always go. My first interest in a Frankenstein film is Victor, because I feel like Victor Frankenstein is such a tragically human character. Like out of for those who aren't familiar with the actual the original Mary Shelley Frankenstein, which I think this film. Granted, I haven't read the book in a very long time, but generally this film feels very loyal to the original source material of the story. Victor Frankenstein is a human vessel for the fall of ambition. He is a prideful, sculpted child who is trying to live up to a family reputation. He is outcast from society for transgressing outside of what is considered to be accepted science. He is the original mad scientist character. And he has this obsession with conquering and defeating death and being able to create life as if he were a god. And he is so dogged and obsessive in his pursuit that he does eventually succeed, only to realize that he is not prepared to succeed. It's the Joker speech about the dog chasing a car of they wouldn't even know what to do if they caught it. He is the original of that as well, of he manages to do it and then he has no idea what to do next. And also he isn't prepared for the implications of what he's done, and it all collapses around him, and then his ambition becomes his downfall. And he's also a monstrous guy. He does terrible things. He's the ends justify the means always. But he's still relatable because the story is told from his perspective. He is justifying his actions constantly and gaslighting both himself and the reader that it's okay. I mean, I'm doing this because it will be better at the end. I'm making these decisions because I had to. And a lot of those decisions are not good moral decisions.
But it's also, isn't it kind of above morals? Hold on, I'm going to jump on that. Isn't it kind of above morals? Isn't it? So the subtitle of the original book, right? The Modern Prometheus. Isn't the idea with Prometheus that the ends justify the means? Yes, something horrible happened and the world's been changed forever, but at least it got done. And that's how progress is made, is men making decisions like this that are kind of outside of morality and ends justify the means. But once it's done, it can't be undone. Correct. Isn't that kind of the idea here?
I would say yes, but I think the difference is Prometheus, right? Prometheus steals the fire from the gods to bring to mankind in order to better all of mankind. Victor wants to conquer death with the illusion of grandeur that by conquering death, he will help all of humanity. But at no point does he actually really intend to apply it in a generous or like beneficial stance to the world. He wants the glory. He is trying to defeat death in order to become the icon of like, look what I was able to do. None of you believed in me, and I was able to do it. And now I've changed science forever. And he wants the legacy. He's not doing out of the kindness of his heart. He doesn't actually believe that he believes that it will better humanity to do it, but he has no intention to apply that himself. He wants to open the door, and then he expects everyone else to come in and fix it. He wants to just be the one who opens that door.
Even deeper than that, what I liked about this movie too is that it's so personal for him too, because it's like, because he's so hateful of his father, like where he feels like his father allowed his mother to die, that he's like, I will become a better doctor than you ever were by beating death. And it's like this personal revengeful struggle too that he's like bringing to the fold, on top of this like pride that he wants to be the best at it, and prove all the people wrong. But like taking that personal, like that storyline was just so like, it was a way that I hadn't seen it before. And again, I hadn't read the novel, so I don't know how much it goes into that, but like seeing that relationship unfold beforehand gave so much of that story to him too.
Well, and the thing is, I think that it's a little bit modern psychology to have the part where it's, oh, don't you see how his dad created him into the monster that he was? And he treats the creature the way his dad treated him. To teach you something, I have to beat you if you get it wrong. It's very on the nose, and it's very modern psychology. It's very pop psychology, but I don't think that it's bad. I agree with you, Dan. I think that it actually lends an emotional weight to it because he's a monster, but he's a relatable monster. Victor is. He's a monster that he's charismatic. And here's the thing about people who are geniuses, even if they're narcissistic pieces of shit, there's something really magnetic and interesting about them, right? And that's something I think that Mary Shelley could really speak to, being married to Percy Shelley, one of the greatest poets of his generation, and knowing Lord Byron, one of the other greatest poets of the generation, both of whom, by the way, are quoted in this movie. Frankenstein is reading Percy Shelley's poem Ozymandias when he's hanging out in the rafters of the house, right? I am Ozymandias, king of kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. And then they quote Lord Byron at the end, right? There's that Lord Byron quote that pops up. That's very important because both of those guys were geniuses and very self-obsessed. So this is her way of processing, okay, I love these guys. I really appreciate them, but God, sometimes they suck, Well,
and honestly, I think one of the cool things about, to your point, this kind of like cycle that Victor falls into is Victor manages to both be victim and abuser, in the sense of he takes on this victim complex of, I lost my mother, like I fall in love with my brother's fiance, like I'm rejected from scientific society, the world hates me, like no one understands me, no one can see my genius. He's like literally the starving artist, like victim vibe. And then he uses that as a vessel to justify becoming the abuser to the monster. And that becomes the narrative center, is that the monster Victor is. And it's so human and so dark and twisted, but you literally can see every step of what gets him here, and then just watch all the pieces crumble. And it's a Shakespearean level tragedy. It's beautiful.
I'll go one step further on you there and say the added tragedy is that because he is in his quest to become superhuman, he loses his humanity when he's then put in the position of not being able to be a human to this creature who he has created. As Mia Goth's character says, he is a pure creation, untouched by sin, but just with our creator's breath blown into him. So he's a perfect vessel. And Victor, being a flawed human, puts his flaws of humanity into this creature. This creature could have been a perfect creature in Guillermo del Toro's telling of it, but he is then broken and flawed because Victor makes him so after he creates him. He's given a blank canvas and then he fucking destroys it, because that is the tragedy of humanity, is to ruin even something that's perfect.
And then that is reinforced by the nature of the whole scene with the old man, and the fact that the wolves become such a impactful and what's the word I'm looking for, like formative moment for the creature, is the fact that he feels like an outsider. He observes this family. He finally ends up bonding with a human who cares about him and takes care of him. And then nature comes and claims that person from him and takes him away. And he literally speaks to it. He says, like, I've learned that the wolf doesn't hate the sheep and the hunters don't hate the wolf. Like, violence is just part of life, and there's nothing that can be done about it. And this just becomes a reality for him, that this is all he's ever known. Like you said, he's a blank canvas. This is the only factual experience he's ever had. And so he just believes, like, oh, the world's just violent and sucks. And that's just the way it is. And I'm going to have to be that way too, because otherwise I'll just be a sheep.
Yeah, right. I can't be a sheep. So, and I want to point out, none of that's in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's Guillermo del Toro processing it and putting that into the story. Do we, Dan, do you think
does he observe a family in the book? I thought he at least says a little.
He observes a family, but they're teaching language to foreigners, I believe, is what it is in the book.
Okay,
it's it's the old man, the old blind man becoming his friend is from Bride of Frankenstein, which is what Guillermo's taking that from.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a bit of a synthesis of a lot of different, like, Frankenstein stories over the years to create a bit of a hybrid, but then also with Guillermo's own philosophy, I think, put on top of it. Mm-hmm. Dan, do you feel like this particular version of Frankenstein, that was too much put onto this? I know you haven't read the book, so I think I want you to speak to, like, do you feel that it was overdone? Do you feel like it's kind of preachy? Did that come across as preachy to you, or do you feel like that all was done in a way that spoke to you?
It didn't feel preachy. I mean, there was a couple times that I think there was lines of dialogue that felt like a little too on the nose. But
like what?
I think that not necessarily with the creature scenes, but especially like when Victor's brother's dying in front of him and he's like, "You're the monster." It's like, okay. Like, you just said the whole theme, boom, there's a line. It's like, okay,
thanks,
you didn't
buddy.
have to say that, but okay, now I get it. The tenderness and the exploration of the creature, I think, was a fantastic way to explore this, and like it felt like a new way of seeing it. And I've been kind of surprised, because from what I'm seeing of other reviews and other critiques of the movie, is that some audiences don't like that aspect of it. Like, they're not like I think they're expecting more of this like horrific, scary element of this creature, and there's a lot more exploration of his innocence and that tenderness and that innocence being lost and all that being explored, that I didn't think it was preachy. I just really loved Guillermo del Toro's take on it.
Well, Dan, actually, okay, I want to ask you one more thing then. Who is this movie for? Because is this for horror fans? Is this for, like, romantics? Who is he making this movie for?
It's definitely, I think more people are expecting a horror film, and it's honestly like it's an exploration of humanity, and it's somewhat of a love story too. It is for romantics, and I think that's definitely a reason why it may turn some people off, because they're expecting one thing and they're gonna get this other story, this other, like, it is a tragedy. So I would think that it's more I think it leans more into a love story, because also it is Guillermo del Toro's love of this character, of horror, of what he loves about horror movies and filmmaking, like all coming to the screen, coming to fruition. So it's like his love story of this character. So that's where I think it leans more towards the romantic side of it.
Ryan, was that your take? Is that who you think this movie's for, or who do you think he's making this movie for?
Well, honestly, so I think that this is kind of just a everyone movie, in the sense I do think that this movie isn't what people would expect out of a horror, because it plays more like a drama. But I also think that is more loyal to the original book, in the sense that what made the book horror, like a horror book, was the reanimation of the dead aspect. There is obviously like a lot of corpse stuff of like sewing together corpses and just like the dark nature of it. But there's not a lot of like she kind of invented sci-fi and horror in of herself. And it was before like we really got into like horrors meant to be like scare you, suspense, like in your face horror. This was meant to be just like a horrifying concept of like, what if this were to be a real thing? But it was dramatic. The book is dramatic, and the human element of the story that's in the film, although I do think, to your point, is like a more modern foundation or kind of structure of it. Generally speaking, a lot of the actual human element of the film is in the original novel. And even the events, I wanted to check, because I don't quite remember if the book ends with, I want to say the monster takes Frankenstein into the Arctic at the end, right?
Frankenstein tells his story, dies, the monster shows up on the ship, comes in, tells his story, says goodbye to Frankenstein, tells the ship captain to keep going towards the North Pole. Then he leaves and says, I'm going to go burn myself. So it's a very, very different ending to the movie, where they actually have a resolution. And this is actually something I wanted to talk about, was Guillermo Del Toro didn't just take a lot of liberties with the story. He took, I think, a big liberty with the end, because he kind of gave the trajectory of the story a different angle. And then his ending was that Victor realized how he had fucked up. The monster forgives him, and Victor has kind of a moment of clarity before he dies and says, I cursed you with eternal life. So my last bit of genius wisdom is go live. You got nothing else to do. Go live. And the creature frees the ship and doesn't, the ship captain realizes the error of his ways and how he's being like Victor. And he says, turn around, we're going home. And the creature wanders off into the sunrise, much like when he was born. And Victor shows him, no, the sun's good. The sun is life. And the creature looks into the morning sun and cries. And we get the feeling that there is, a positive resolution. Maybe he's going to go live. Do you, and that worked for me, but did that work for you guys? Having a bit of a more positive note as opposed to a bit of a downer ending in the book.
Dan, I'll let you go first, because I've got a lot to say about this.
Ooh.
The only thing, I really want to rewatch this again, but the thing that I felt slightly rushed was his forgiveness so quickly. Just in that moment where he forgave Victor for everything, it happened so fast that sort of drew me out for a moment. But was
that the moment you were referring to earlier, like near the end, that pulled you out of the movie?
Me?
What was the moment
Ryan.
Was that
me.
you? Was you? Okay.
I'll get to that.
Ryan had a part, but that was the part where
you both were almost pulled out of the movie at the end.
Almost, yeah. I felt like there was so much, like he was hunting him down, and there was so much back and forth of like Victor trying to kill him and him trying to catch him, and it was all this stuff where it was like, now that they're finally there, then it was just, he forgave him so quickly, but I think beyond that, I thought that ending was fantastic. Just like it was so beautifully shot, and the pushing of the ship away, and it still feels tragic, because it's like he still has now. I mean, he's living forever, and it's like there's still that tragedy of like it was such an interesting theme that was being explored in the book of like everybody is tracing everlasting life and being able to live forever ever, and it's just having that as your gift is actually the tragedy. And you know that the part that really broke me was when he was like begging Victor to like please make a companion for me. Like make a companion for me because I'm going to be so lonely and sad in this life living forever, like, you know, in this world. And like that really like broke me down towards the end. But I think that I think it was such a beautiful ending, the way that he shot it, and like being in that Arctic and just seeing the sun and how towering it was, and the tear, it felt so beautiful that I loved it. Like I loved what he did with it. So that's how I love it.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, you're over there. I'm shaking. Oh, I can see it. Come on. All right.
So much
monologue for it. Let's go. Let's get it.
Here's the thing. So I completely agree with Dan. That one moment is that I felt like it was the only moment that the movie stumbled. And the reason was specifically the fact that they essentially tie it so that we hear the story literally up to moments before the crew finds Victor in the ice. Then having Victor tell the story and then having the monster show up and having Victor have this remorse. Victor's spin felt very sudden, and then I felt like he had not earned forgiveness and that the monster should not forgive him. And that moment was hard until, as the ending kept rolling and as the story kept progressing, the thing that kind of dawned on me that then brought me back in almost as quickly was the moment that actually, Dan, you touched on it as well, the scene where they ask for the companion. That scene is the moment that condemns Victor for me. Of Victor literally not only has done all these horrible things, but then in out of complete selfishness says like, is going to put himself above, like, I have made this evil thing. I refuse to sink to that level again. Like he becomes like this hubris of this moment is the moment that I feel like Victor just is like signed off for me as.
And not only that, but he does it not only from his hubris, but because of his own petulant hurt because he was just rejected for the last time by Mia Goth, right? By his, she's got her wedding dress on. He's in there being like, hey, I thought we could make up. Just one last time, maybe some nookie for daddy. And she's like, get the fuck out of here, man. And smacks him away. And so he's still reeling from that and being rejected and feeling all like sad for himself. And here comes this creature who he's terrified of and disgusted by and is a reflection of his own failures and shortcomings and everything that's wrong with him. And the creature's saying, I want love. And Victor's going, fuck you. If I can't get love,
exactly.
You can't get love.
Exactly. And so like that moment is where Victor goes beyond all forgiveness for me. But then so the thing is, when Victor has his remorse, I realize that at least for me, and I don't know if you guys agree with this interpretation, but Victor apologizing to the creature, it comes across to me as completely selfish. He's just trying to absolve himself in his final moments. The entire movie, Mia Goth's character says it earlier, he has to have control. He has to control every element. He knows he's going to die. He's felt it over the last few scenes. He's like, oh man, like I didn't get him. Like, and now this creature's in front of me. Like, he might kill me. I'll just apologize. And then I'm absolved and I can die in peace. And it's the selfish move of like, forgive me, please, in my dying moments. Like, give me the opportunity to be forgiven. And then the creature, who is the insert of, well, as we said, like in pure innocence and the humanity of the film, I was like, he doesn't deserve forgiveness, but the monster forgives him anyway. And I was like, honestly, frankly, from a poetic standpoint, he should. He represents what like is better than human, right? Like Victor doesn't deserve to be forgiven, but he's forgiven anyway, which speaks to how pure and how good the creature is as a character, that he is able to rise above what would be the logical response here because it's the right thing to do. And then I was done. I was like, this movie's a masterpiece.
And also, I'll even say it's a callback to the old man who said, I killed a man when I was young and I never got forgiven for it. And if there's one thing I could wish is that I could get forgiveness for that. I could blot that away. And the creature thinking back to that and saying, all right, if forgiveness is the one thing that I can do, right? And of course, choice, as she says, is the seat of the soul. So he now has the choice to forgive him or not. And the fact that he does, he's Prometheus's vulture. And he can keep pecking away in that liver as long as he wants. But isn't the better thing to say, you know what? I absolve you. I forgive you. And I'm sorry, I just realized I did that kind of like Ralph Fiennes in Schindler's List, and that's really creepy. Sorry.
Well, actually, it felt a little popish to me. It was kind of like...
Okay, we'll go for the Pope. We'll go for the Pope. But at any rate, like the point is,
although I agree. Parallel between those two things.
We're not going to think about that.
Disparate ideas.
Let's go back to the beauty of the end of Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. Yeah, okay. I agree. I think that but that's, I think, one of the reasons I asked who is this movie for, because this is a movie that you have to just kind of let yourself go to a bit. You got, like, there's big emotions. There's big language. There's very on-the-nose metaphors. There's very on-the-nose dialogue. And I think that's partially just because he's speaking in shorthand in the language of film. He doesn't have time to really, like, I don't think he wants to be like an art house film in that way. I think he wants to speak to as many people as possible. And I forgive him for that. I think that that's allowed. I think that having, the really obvious visual metaphor of Victor coming up from having created the creature, chains him up in the basement, comes up with his candle, and the voiceover saying, I had no idea what to do with myself then. And there he is, Prometheus, sitting on the stairs with his fire, and he goes, and blows out the candles, blows out the fire. Right? It's a lot of those. It's just very, very on-the-nose metaphors, but I don't fucking care. It's awesome from top to bottom if you let it be. If you just if you be like the creature in a way, and you're just kind of innocent about it, and like just let it flow over you and don't just be cynical. I think this is a movie for people who aren't cynical. I think this is a movie for people who are willing to let their emotions be on their sleeve. I think this is a movie for people who have been looking for their goth Jesus who lived for our sins. Because I don't know, dude. Frankenstein's creature in this is going to break some goth people's hearts. Boys and girls are going to be falling in the aisles for Jacob Elordi as a creature.
That cloak does work in this film, dude. Like, granted, the fact that he finds a cloak that's perfectly fit for his gigantic body is ridiculous. But oh my God, does it work? Who cares? It's beautiful.
I mean, I liked the great cloak that De Niro had in Kenneth Branagh's version, but then his head sticking out of it looked like a guy who'd been knifed in a footy bar fight in England or something. I mean, he looked like a laddie who'd had one too many bar fights. It wasn't a good look. And this creature, the mismatched skin and everything, them explaining that because all the heads had been blown off in battle, he had to like piece it together because he could not find a good head. Like that's great.
Yeah.
So I could go off about this movie forever, but we can't do this all night. We do have to bring this show in for a landing here. Boys, do we have a Mike Logan in Frankenstein? Do we?
I have one.
Okay, Dan, I'm going to go for you first because Ryan is really psyched, and I think I know who he's going for, but I'm very curious. Dan, who is your Mike Logan for this movie?
Well, I'm gonna go with the dad. His father is the Mike Logan for me, just because I think it was.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
He thinks that he's the best upon everything, beating his son until he knows that what's good for, like, not, you allowing, I guess, like, not fighting hard enough for a wife and still punishing the older son. Like, it just, it felt like, yes, we can go down that pop psychological path of like the father created the monster, but he is such a dick, man. He's just a terrible dude. And he's always so good in that character, man. He was like
Charles
in Game of
Dance.
Thrones,
Brilliant
so
cast.
great
Charles
in Game
Dance.
of Thrones.
He's this
so
generation's
good at that guy.
evil dad. Like
Yeah,
he's
and
just
then
so
also
good.
in
Game of Thrones?
Last Action Hero.
Oh,
Oh
Last
yeah.
Action
Well,
Hero.
that,
He's
not a dad, but a bad guy. Yeah.
no, but he's such a good bad guy in Last Action
And Tomb
Hero.
Raider. And Tomb Raider.
Oh
Or
yeah.
was-
So
yeah.
I mean, he's such a great bad guy. But yes, in Game of Thrones, like the last time you've seen him be such like a horrible dad, and so he was such good in it. But I was just like, as I was watching, I was like, he's getting my Mike Logan. He's getting my Mike Logan. I know.
I'm sorry, but really quickly, the face is vanity is such a line.
Oh,
Good God.
yes.
Yeah.
Man. Especially
The-
right before the slap.
The gasp around me in the theater when he goes, the face is vanity.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Woo. Yeah.
Especially in
Ryan-
Hollywood.
Oh, Ryan Ross live. You're Mike Logan.
I mean, come on. It's Victor. It's
Oh,
Victor.
Yeah, I knew you'd say
Really?
Victor.
Look, Victor decides as a child that he is going to make this a singular focus. And throughout the movie, he hides in a confession booth pretending to be a priest because he's horny. He sneaks around with his brother's fiance and often orders his brother away so that he can spend time with his fiance in secret, manipulating. He literally out of nothing but pride refuses the financier who has literally funded his dream project and given him everything that he wants, and eventually ends up accidentally killing him, which admittedly was not intentional, but also like had he just been like, look, like we can talk about this, or been at all reasonable rather than just being immediately dismissive, would not have led to his death. And then he is an absolute dickweed to the creature over and over and over and over. He refuses to acknowledge that the creature might be intelligent. He actively beats it. He tells it it's stupid. He doesn't pay any attention to the fact that like the regenerative properties or whatever he like appreciates and then like completely writes off. And then he goes and he goes on this whole tale about how poor him, all this stuff happened to him. And then finally he's met with his demise and he's like, you know what I need to do? I need to say I'm sorry by my dying breath. I need to get the forgiveness in order to feel good in my final moments. Please, I'm dying. Forgive me.
Wait.
He sucks.
So you're saying that the creature could forgive Victor, but you couldn't.
Not at all. He sucks.
Ooh.
And that's
Ooh.
why the creature is the better insert for humanity.
Nice.
Victor
he's
didn't deserve to be forgiven.
He's a better man than you, is what you're saying. You couldn't forgive Victor.
I am not insert of innocence, and I aspire to the level of patience and virtue of Frankenstein's creature in this film.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I guess that's on me then. My Mike Logan is very easy because I'm not going for Victor because, as I say, I feel like he's made to be a little bit understandable in this. He's not. Mike Logan in Cannibal Ferox was irredeemable.
That's
Zero
fair.
redeeming qualities. That's what I'm looking for in my Mike Logans. I'm looking for people who they're just pieces of shit from the bottom to the top. And the only person, I think Dan's nailed it. I didn't even think about the dad. We didn't really get enough of him. At least he kind of loved his wife. He loved his son, the other son. I don't know.
He said he resented his wife. They said that they were.
He resented his wife,
her.
but he was really grateful that she gave him the nice blonde son. But
the one that looked like him.
Right.
God.
But there is a guy who's worse than that. Heinrich Harlander. Christoph Waltz's character. War profiteer. Right? Mm-hmm. One night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury. Got syphilis from banging too many chicks, and as a result, looked everywhere to use his war money taken from people dying in the worst possible way, which his niece resented. And he he wanted to do that just for his own ends. Tricked Victor into working for him. And then at the last second was like, you're going to put my brain into that monster's body, to the point where he was willing to sabotage the whole thing for his own selfish ends. Because he put his little Willie in the wrong place one time, and he's going to go trip up this guy who's a genuine genius, complete narcissistic asshole, but he's going to mess up this thing because of his pet. He is so many of humanity's sins wrapped up in one man. I mean, the creature is created from human sins, right? In this movie, he's created from the war dead. He's created from criminals. He's created from us murdering criminals. Who makes that happen? Heinrich. F that guy. I'm glad he died.
That's a fair take.
I'm glad he died.
Great point.
I think we should throw an honorary mention to some of the hunters. Some of the hunters sucked.
Well, but no, they didn't know any better. They were living a rough life.
No, like, I will give you that, like, the wolves and whatever are fine, but they literally go like, we shot it twice and like it's still cooking. We need to go look for it. Like, it's just this thing in the woods that we're just gonna shoot. Like,
that could come back and kill your family. That's
true.
They're living out in the woods. You don't take any chances with big, scary creatures that look like they're sewn together from body parts.
That's a fair point.
Come on.
It's an honorary mention for a reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna defend.
Fair. That's
the part of the tragedy of that. The hunters fall into the line with the wolves and the sheep. They're just doing them. Like, it doesn't. It's not their fault. That's just how nature works. Yeah, I'll defend the hunter. But fuck Heinrich. All right. The name of the show, This Is Why You Died. Let's find out why people died in Frankenstein. We've only got a couple of nominations in this one, but a couple big ones. So, boys, let's see. Ryan, this was your movie. Why did someone die in Guillermo Del Toro's brilliant Frankenstein?
So I don't know the name of this character because I don't think they have a name, but there's a very specific sailor that I chose for my This Is Why You Died.
No.
Whoa.
You're going to steal mine.
What?
You're going to steal mine.
I don't know if I am. But so during the initial sequence where the creature comes after the boat, the captain has the firing squad come on they're still on the ground before they get back on the boat. He has the firing squad firing at the creature, and the first line fires, and then the creature keeps coming, so they bring up the second line and he fires, and then everyone starts to scramble for the boat, and there's this one sailor who doesn't move, and the creature comes up and slaps his jaw off his body.
Damn, you took mine.
Oh, wasn't that guy?
That was mine.
That's hey, dude.
It was so good.
It was so brutal.
He doesn't slap it off. He just grabs it and rips it right off. He's like, boink, there goes your jaw. Man, it was good. That was a great kill.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
That guy did not move fast enough.
I think you meant to say mandible. That was a good kill.
Oh, there you go.
But all right. But
that guy needed to move it. That thing had taken 4 bullets, and you need to move your ass.
Yeah.
We could say that with a couple of sailors who just were like, bullets aren't stopping him. I'm going to go take him with my fists. And they kind of run at him. And he just goes, not today.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. a few of those sailors died very brave deaths. Dan, do you have another one you want to throw? They did, man. And the crown. Dan, do you have another one you want to try to do? Or
oh man, I love that was my guy because that was just such a great way because he you don't stand up to that guy, like he's been shot and he's still coming. You don't go stand up to him. So that was my guy. But if I go with somebody else, I guess we could go with why did I guess we could go with your Mike Logan guy with Heinrich. It's his Willie got him killed, I guess,
Yeah. Dude.
Out of all the angles you're going to pick is the Willie?
Yeah.
Well, it's what led him down the path.
That's true.
So that's what led him to, but
Heinrich didn't know the oldest rule in the book.
Yeah. The fall didn't get him, but
the fall got him in the end, but the oldest rule in the book, man, if it smells, it can go to hell. Like, don't like, be careful what you do,
in that days, didn't they use like sheep stomachs or whatever? Like, there was stuff out there.
Pigs bladders. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's silly. He can afford it.
You're being silly, bro. Kiki, you're being silly. Mine is going to go to Mia Goth, Lady Elizabeth Harlander. What my least favorite moment in the entire movie, where he goes for the pistol, which I guess he doesn't know that a pistol's not going to work on his creature at that point. He doesn't know how immortal he is.
Yeah, he hasn't seen it got shot yet, to be fair.
I guess to her credit, she doesn't know either. But God damn it, Mia Goth, what are you doing? And partly was her acting why this made me nuts. Was just the way that she dramatically, my stomach, fell over. Like, you're jumping in front of an immortal Jesus goth creature. What are you doing? This is why you died, because you throw yourself in front of someone who can't be killed? Woman!
Yeah.
But then can we talk about the next thing? The next line out of anyone's mouth is everyone comes in and Victor goes, he attacked her. He attacked her. And I'm like, oh, you piece of shit.
You son of a bitch. You did it once and you're doing it again. Oh, all right, boys, it's come to that time of the show. We have to rate Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. This is going to be, I'm very curious. Ryan, this was your pick. Electricity was your prompt. Frankenstein was your movie. Is this your first ever? What other Frankenstein movies have you seen? Have you seen Universal movies? Have you seen Hammer? Have you seen De Niro?
I don't think
Monster
I've ever seen
Squad?
like a true, like actual Frankenstein movie. I've seen a lot of Frankensteins in like other things, but I don't know if I've ever seen like a Frankenstein movie. I think the closest was actually Young Frankenstein, just being a spoof of the.
I think that counts. Yeah, it's got enough other stuff in it. Okay, so your very first, like, let's call it real Frankenstein movie. How many skulls do you give to Frankenstein?
Guys, this is going to be my first 10 on the show.
Shut the front door.
Guys,
what?
This movie is a masterpiece. The one complaint I had about it, other than, I mean, like, there's some silly stuff, but like, it's completely justifiable silly stuff. The only complaint I had, I was able to talk myself, like, actually, I think this makes the film stronger. I think that it's better that they did the thing that I originally reacted to. I think this is, frankly, no pun intended, going to become the definitive Frankenstein story. I think that this take is going to become the Frankenstein that people look back to, because it's so lovingly done. It takes so much from the original source material, which I feel like, to what we said, Frankenstein as an entity has become very disparate from the original story. And this is such a return to the actual presentation of not only just the events, but also the meaning and the point of the story of Frankenstein, and the actual delivery of the moral and like the conclusion. And it's so poignant right now in what a like dark and like brutal and oppressive environment that we're living in, with how politics are and the economy and stuff, to have something that is such an emotionally driven human story and relatable from the point of like humanistic goals and experience and journey. Everyone should see this movie. Everyone should watch it. Everyone should see it as in the best environment you can. It's a masterpiece, and I cannot think of the last movie that I saw that I felt this way. It's the best movie I've seen this year, and it might be one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Wow. Holy shit.
Oof.
Ryan Ross live with a 10 out of 10 skulls and massive adulation for Frankenstein by Guillermo Del Toro. Dan, March of Madness, you're up. How many skulls do you give to Frankenstein?
I cannot go less than 10. When you follow Guillermo Del Toro's career and you see the love that he has for the genre, for the world, and like I said earlier in the episode, just every film that he's made feels like it led up to this moment for him. Like, whether it's the action of Blade 2 or of Pacific Rim, the goth world of what Crimson Peak, I think he did too.
Crimson Peak, yeah.
And then and of course like and the monstrous effects of Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, and the innocence lost in Pan's Labyrinth and in Devil's Backbone. It's like all these things that he did, and then of course having love and creating this loving character of a monster like he did in Shape of Water just elevated to this moment here. It's like it's watching a master being able to finally realize his masterpiece. It feels like everything that was in his brain, it was put on screen, and it just feels so realized. The world is so lush and so like I was like there's no like this is the new foundation for gothic horror. Like this is what you do if something's called gothic. It should be like, oh well, yeah, it was Guillermo's Frankenstein. Like this is so beautifully realized and beautifully told. The storytelling was incredible. I loved the prelude, Victor's chapter, the the creatures chapter. Like I love the way they did that. One thing that I loved was like in the theater when the creature walks in and he says like, I'll tell mine. What his line is like, it's better than what I'm going to say, but he's like, and now I'll tell mine. This one guy in the back was like, what? He was just like, yeah, like someone was cheering, like, yes, like we were like, everybody was like so ready for more. And it was just like, I felt like I was being wrapped in a beautifully warm blanket of filmmaking, passion and love and gothic beauty that like you could drink it. It was so like right there in front of you that I was just like, man. And as soon as it was over, I was like, put it on again. I will sit here for another 2.5 hours. I need to watch this again. It's so good. And it was so funny. It was like, thank goodness this is coming to Netflix in a few weeks because I need to see this again. Yeah. I was like, I gotta watch it again. Sadly it'll be on my smaller screen TV, but I was like, right. I'm watching this again as soon as I can see it again. It's so good. So yeah, 10 out of 10.
Wow. 2 10s from the boys. It's my turn. I've got a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
I went to see this the first time with Lady Danger up at the New Art, where I saw it on 35 millimeter film.
Ooh. I also had the chance to see it on 35 millimeter.
You saw it on 35.
And it's got that like warmth, and the colors are blended a little bit more. The cigarette burns, that old feel to it. And it was transported, felt like an old school cinematic experience. Cried 4 times, was a mess coming out of the theater. Wow. Was a mess the rest of the night. Was just absolutely transported. And then, last night, Mama Danger was in town, and I watched it again.
Oh
no. On digital in another theater. And I need to point out that my mother has never seen a horror movie in her life that she can think of.
Okay.
She does not like horror movies. She does not like dark movies or gore or anything like that. And when we got out of the theater, isn't it? And when we got out of the theater, she couldn't stop talking about it. And all day today, she kept saying, I can't wait to see this movie again. She said it was one of the best movies she's seen in a long time. It's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. Second time I saw it, I cried 3 times.
Wow.
This is, I think, the definitive version of the story. As much as I love all the other Frankensteins, they can exist in a separate universe and they can exist in their own space. This is the achievement. This is a sumptuous feast that Guillermo Del Toro has produced here. It's the best movie he's ever done. And that's saying something. It's a triumph. It's absolutely a masterpiece. And here's the funny thing. I don't think it will be a masterpiece for everyone. And that's kind of why I threw that question earlier in the show, is I don't think everyone's going to get this movie. I don't think it's going to work for the cynical. I don't think it's going to work for people whose hearts are closed. I think this is going to work for the people who get David Lynch. I think this is going to work for the people who get kind of like the weirder side of things, but who get emotional at those. I think that it's for the people who have open hearts. And And it's funny because as much as this is a dark, brutal, grim, grisly story, it's so sweet and so innocent and so pure and so beautiful at its core. And that's not going to work for everybody. But it's the right story to be told now, and it's the right story for people to feel now. And it's also, as you said, Ryan, very aptly, it's the right story to be told in this way right now when we have all of these men who are geniuses in their own way, pushing us into areas we maybe should be taking more caution with AI, for example. That's the first thing I could think of, where maybe we, instead of just trying to accomplish something and pissing on it and saying we were first, we should maybe be thinking more closely about what it could mean, especially when it could mean other intelligent life. So I think this is a very apt movie for right now in meaning as well as in many other reasons. And I really hope it finds an audience. I hope people see it. I hope the access to it on Netflix gets people to see it. I hope it gets re-released in theaters. I hope that it's nominated for all kinds of Oscars. It should be.
It should be.
Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, costume design, set design, production design, script, all of it.
I cannot.
Score,
the set design.
Score, the score, the music. God. Yeah, this movie should be at the Oscars. I hope it doesn't get overlooked. I can't understand why Netflix is only putting it in the theaters that it's putting it in. I hope that it has a bigger run and doesn't just try to put it on its platform. But for me, as for you guys, there is no way I cannot give this movie a 10 out of 10. I've seen it twice already in a week, and I can't wait to watch it again and again and again and again. So for the first time, I believe in show history, we have a perfect score for a movie.
It's true. And also, I want to throw out, I gave it a perfect score despite the fact that in the viewing that I was there, halfway through the movie stopped.
Oh,
I had an imperfect viewing and I still gave it a 10. Literally, so at the during the whole scene where he's hiding in the what's essentially like a grain mill, it seems like.
The water mill, yeah.
Yes. The hunters are coming back to the house and the scene cuts out of nowhere and the screen goes black and it sounded like heartbeat sounds. And at first I think everybody in the theater thought that it was intentional because it seemed like the heartbeat seemed really visceral. I think it was the bass trying to reconnect to the feed.
Oh, wow.
The whole theater lights came up. They had no explanation. We were all just sitting there like, what's going on? And for like 2 minutes, everyone's just kind of like, is something gonna happen? And then the lights went back down and the movie just continued. I think we lost like 2 seconds of film. They like literally just interrupted the viewing. Still beautiful. It's a masterpiece. It's
and
a triumph.
If you're watching it on Netflix and the stream goes out, be like Ryan. Stick around. Come back. Wow.
But honestly, I agree with you. I hope that this gets the K-pop Demon Hunters treatment where I'm hoping it gets popular enough on Netflix that they end up putting it back into theaters because it deserves theater viewing. It deserves awards. Yes. And I agree with you. I really hope people find this on Netflix. It's the movie of I don't know if I could say of a lifetime, but it's an experience that I've never had before. It's a game changer.
Wow. I mean, I was just gonna say that, like, you know, I think this is a calculated move. Will they bring it back? I sure hope they do if they're going for Oscar run. But I think that they have to put it in theaters so that it can be considered for Oscars because it needs to be in cinemas for 2 weeks for it to be considered for an Oscar, which they did. So I know that they know that they're gonna push for it. But with all the early reviews I'm seeing are people are praising it. I mean, there's more people are picking apart than I think that we have in some of the stuff I've been seeing, but I think everybody hands down is calling this like one of, if not the best Guillermo Del Toro film he's ever done. So, you know,
let's keep the momentum going. I'm stunned that I thought I was going to be coming in here having to defend this movie. It's insane that we just gave it a perfect score. Wow. I'm shook, but not so shook that I don't know that it's time for Ryan to pick another prompt because we have just given a perfect score to Frankenstein. So Ryan, you're out of a prompt, and we still gotta finish this show. I could sit here and talk about this movie for another, and Frankenstein in general for another hour and hours and hours and hours. But okay, so Dan,
I'm blanking on the word. What's the French thing for like the peak of your career, the opus something,
the piece of resistance, piece that is just
no, like magnum opus. There's something
magnum
like that.
opus, yeah, magnum opus.
Anyway, yeah. I was trying to remember. I was like, this is that.
All right, Ian, you mentioned it. My prompt I'm sitting on right now is time. Ooh. Time.
So we're going to find out about time on the next episode. And then in a couple of seconds, we're going to find out what mine is. My prompt that I'm sitting on is missing.
Ooh.
He's got a reveal.
But I do have a reveal coming up, and Ryan's digging in his bucket of the beast.
Past Spider-Man.
666.
Peter Parker.
What do we got coming for you next time, Ryan?
I do have one.
Let's go.
See what it is. First. First. F-I-R-S-T.
Interesting. First.
I don't remember adding this one, but clearly we added it. Let me see if I can get it.
There it is. First.
That's an interesting pick. Well,
that one has that's a very wide potential, I think.
Very wide.
Which is great. That's the point. Yeah. It's not supposed to be obvious. But all right, so Ryan, you have your work cut out for you, trying to figure out what will be your movie for first. And Dan, you've got 1 week left to find a movie for time. But
I've got a couple in mind. So
I'm out of time, and I need to give my pick right now, which sucks because I haven't chosen. I'm stuck.
You're going off the cuff?
I'm stuck. Well, I'm not going entirely off the cuff.
Oh, are we doing a dice roll?
I've narrowed it down to 2.
We're taking chances. The two-faced in me loves this.
Are we rolling?
And we're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. I'm bringing out the dice that RyanRossLIVE was nice enough to give to me. And we've got 2 movies to pick from here.
Okay.
One, both classics. We're gonna go back to classics on this one.
Okay.
But
do we get to know which one's which?
No, I'll tell you.
You're not gonna tell us. You're just gonna roll. Oh,
here we go.
Humanity.
I'll tell you afterwards.
No suspense.
But I'm gonna say as I roll, Dan, call it even or odds.
Odd.
It is even. We are gonna go with the second of the 2 movies. The 2 movies in question were The Vanishing and The Wicker Man.
Ooh.
Both of which involve missing people. The Vanishing, very dark movie, really fucked up. And that was going to be odds, thanks to your pick, Dan. So we are going to watch The Wicker Man, the classic Christopher Lee movie.
The original
from the
one,
second.
right?
I've heard of this one.
Not the Nicolas Cage one?
Not the Nicolas Cage one. Not the bees.
The bees.
Nicolas Cage.
Not the bees. We are going to watch the original Wicker Man.
Awesome.
For next week. Wow, that's going to be fun. The original Wicker Man. Thank you for your pick there, Dan. And thank you, Ryan, for the dice. We have our movie for next week. It will be The Wicker Man. Our come down from Frankenstein will be the classic The Wicker Man next week on This Is Why You Died. Boys, any final words as we exit today, as we exit the theater, as we go up the aisles? Any last words?
You said the word theater. If you can see Frankenstein in a theater, go to that theater and watch it. It is gorgeous on a giant screen. It's gorgeous to look at. So you gotta let it take you over.
I agree. See the movie. Yeah. It's amazing. And thank you for listening. And we hope that you enjoyed.
Amen. Amen. If you want to check us out, beacons.ai/TIWYD pod. And that has all of our links, YouTube, Patreon, socials, etc. Check us out there. But for Dan March of Madness, for RyanRossLIVE, I am Sir Ian Dangerous. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on
This Is Why You Die.